Oh. Hello. Hi. It's 4:30 in the morning. And this is the after party. Do not expect this to last long. I'll boot up the cats for you real quick. Boop. There's one. Oh, God. I do enjoy Pete's streams, I really do. But I thought that one was going to end like 45 minutes ago. And I had everything prepped and I'm like, Why are no the cat's loading? Why are no the cat's loading? It's just my cat. There you are. There's Christopher. Why Christopher? Christopher didn't even say anything. What? Maybe you have to go into the thing? Oh, okay, you gotta sign in. Gotcha. This doesn't show up. Anyway, yeah, link is in the description for anybody who doesn't know. Check out the cats. Get your kitty. I should have fixed everything. Which means that the King Dragon cat costs 2,000 coins now. But I got 21 subscribers. So every 5 minutes, you'll get 21 gold. So you want more money? Get me more subscribers. Get me pictures of Spider-Man. I don't even know. Does anybody want to do anything? Like, I have a new catchphrase game set up. I can figure out something for Wheel of Fortune. But does anybody really want to do anything? Other than mess around with these cats? Up to you guys. I am not bailing you out, Tyler. That was a one-time thing, especially now that I've changed the prices. You are more than well. Oh, does that? Oh, here. I hope that I didn't check that. Usually, sometimes my shortcuts don't work. And I didn't check that they work today. Yay, they work. So boom. Money can be exchanged for stream avatar gold. 10,000 to 100 gold. Same here, Elsa. I am. Whew, I gotta work tomorrow too. I'm gonna save for Lanka. That's fine. I mean, you can change the money. You can like take this money and put it into gold, but if you want to save it in this form, then you can save it in this form. Up to you. I'm not gonna tell you the right idea, the wrong idea. Why do you? Sometimes it just throws out that extension link, and I don't know why. Cindy with the bomb. Whee! And Elsa and Tyler with the hug. Adorable. Anyway, so yeah, if anybody wants to transfer their stuff, just let me know, and I will plug in everything I gotta plug in. Just shy. Actually, I'm pretty sure once you punch somebody, they don't collide with anything, so that wouldn't have even made it up there. Give the Cats for Dummies instructions to get my cat to jump. You know what? I don't actually have open my own. How do I... Does anybody... What's the URL start with for the controller? I want to type it in on my own. I can't view my description while streaming, so... While screaming. That too. Get it myself. My channel. That one. Boop, got it. Server.stream avatars. Oh, look at them all. I have all of them because I'm the stream person. Let's switch over to Gross Cat. He's so gross. Ugh. I hated having to animate him. You got it? He jumped? Hooray! Now learn how to climb that ladder. I don't even know how to do that one. In the box between attack and hug, type Tyler, and then click attack. Why are you punching my gross cat, man? I thought we were friends. I did update everybody's points, by the way, during party. So, this is all current as is now. I never actually checked out Wallcat. How's Wildcat? Oh, it's great. I like when Wildcat sits. At least the controller. Actions, sit. He just flat, face flat on the ground. I love him. Anyway, back to cool. It is a very creepy cat. There are ridiculously complex cats out there, but a lot of them are very big and with a lot of animations, and I don't want to go through that, and I have about 5 more that I want to add. There are 2, oh no, maybe more than that actually, but there's what's it called? Fish cat, and there's whale cat, and there's one called island cat, which I'm not sure if I can get to work because it's like an island and it can't jump. But in this game, obviously it can jump no matter what, so I'd have to create custom animation for that. But that's island cat, and then there's flying cats, which again, that messes with the whole jump thing. So I don't know how I would make that work. But if I can figure out a good way, I'll include them. David, I'm assuming hypothetical question based on the eunuch and a news story. I'm gonna try on eunuch, if that's the correct word. Anywho, let me hear it. Unicode? Just throw me the question, I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure I'm running at like a 3rd grade level right now mentally. Okay, this definitely doesn't make sense to me. Alright, hold on. Why is it illegal to do someone if they want to do it? What? I'm assuming you're talking about like consent laws. But I'm unsure where which law is being broken here. Oh, eunuch. It's E-U-N-I-C-H. That's how you spell eunuch. Anyway, yes. No. Oh, sorry. E-U-N-U. Hey, Tyler, you made it back up here. Hello. Anyway, why is it illegal? I'm pretty sure... I mean, theoretically, it's a battle of liberty versus safety, you know? It's a battle of, like, it's the same sort of thing of when it comes with any sort of like consent law. Yeah, exactly. The same reason, even if you ask someone to murder you, it's still murder. Like, you can't just consent to a crime and that makes the crime okay. You know? It's still a crime. I actually, when I was real young, and I think my great grandmother died, we had to go to the will reading or whatever, and I was just asking questions about wills, and one of the things I asked was, if I'm like murdered, like if I'm killed by somebody or something and they go to jail, can I put in my will like, hey, I forgive them, I'm not pressing charges from beyond the grave? And Mom was like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, why not? But yeah, no, I think it's all basically just, you can't consent and make a crime legal. The closest you can get to that is not pressing charges, but if you're giving consent and you're still alive after the fact, then theoretically, like for the eunuch example, you are an accomplice to them committing the crime while simultaneously being a victim as well. It's a little gray area, but hey, whatever. That is what? Sorry. I feel like the YouTube analytics are off. This is the first time I've ever really looked at them because my screen is bigger than normal. Average watch time, 1 hour and 9 minutes. I've been going for, what, like 6 minutes now? Not even? Sorry, 10 minutes. It was longer than that. That was an hour and 10 minutes. It's a weird story. They say we're doing it because they wanted. It's actually, yeah, no. I'm sure, you know, they had whatever reasons and stuff like that, but you still got to go through proper channels and whatnot and whatnot. Again, not a lawyer, not a cop, not a sitting federal judge yet. No, I am just a dude online saying whatever. Elsie, you might need money. It costs 5 to drop a bomb. I don't know how much gold you have. Oh, it'll have you buy a bomb first? Oh, doesn't do that for me. But then again, I think I might have streamer privileges. She has 378. Okay, yeah. Speaking of which, no one ever took me up. Does anybody want to exchange their money for avatar gold? Because Tyler, all you would do is drop the last 2 digits. So you would get 2,234 if you did it right now. People in the news story did. Well, yeah. The type of people who are willing to do body mutilation is not exactly nice. How is this the calming, cheerful after party stream, Bob? Hello, everyone. All of my children. Don't walk off the ladder. Don't walk off the ladder. Fletcher! Fletcher! Oh, Jesus. 2 dancing Mohawk boys beneath me. No, Fletcher, they didn't. Did they say eating them? I missed that part. I know the eating was bad. Yeah, no, that's... Here at the after party, we do not consent or condone to cannibalism. Yeah, bomb has to launch you just straight up. Or you can try to use the sling command. That does sometimes work. Probably. Or try to climb up the ladder. I still don't know how that works. Hey! Tyler just punted Christopher off the stage. Bad, Tyler. Bad. There goes Elsa. I once saw a stream that had like 200 plus avatars running around all over the screen. It was ridiculously chaotic. Yeah, I'll move out of your way. Jump all you want. The other story was just as unpleasant. Well, then I don't want to read it. It's nearly 5 in the morning. I want to go to sleep at some point. A man who had his wife recording him having... Okay, you know, I'm done with that one. Anybody else wants to continue that line of chat, feel free. But that one is... I'll read the last words. Hello, DNA. Anyway, how was everybody enjoying the end of the 12-hour stream? I know we caught up halfway. Everyone seemed to be having a good time. It's kind of mellowed out there at the end, but you know, it's I think that was a surprise visit by Tim, as Tim do. But yeah, I genuinely had a pretty good time with that. I believe he started like 3 though. Maybe it was later. I know he started. Actually, you still have the notification. Nope, cleared itself. Damn. Either way, thank you, Fletcher. And that was for everybody who stopped by. Thank you for giving ideas. And Tyler, was it Tyler? Someone just dropped in a whole stanza. The Snyder Cut one. Good job. Oldest otter at 25. In fairness, I guess I never really considered how old otters got. I guess he started about noon? Okay, your time though. What time is it now? That's the difference. Because for me, I think he started like 3. Snyder Cut was you, Tyler? Good. Yeah. I like that one. I wouldn't have ever thought of that. See, I'm not excited for Snyder Cut, but I'm gonna watch it. Like, if it doesn't ever come out, okay, whatever, fine. But if it does come out, I'm gonna watch it. Probably won't pay for it, but I will do it through totally legal means, Internet Police. Totally legal. 11:40-ish. And it's 1:45. So, yeah, that was 13 hours, 14 hours. 14 hours. Took a half hour in the middle there, 45 minutes. Brings it down to 13:15. 20 minutes on the toilet. That's just under 12 something. So yeah. You went over 12 hours, and that's good. That's solid. I'm glad that it wasn't, 12 hours. Okay, bye everyone. You won't watch it, Elsa? I mean, I get it. I understand why people won't watch it, but I'm a big enough DC fan. Not that, like, I still haven't watched Suicide Squad. I still haven't watched Birds of Prey and the entirely too long subtitle. I still haven't watched what was the one? I haven't watched extended cut of BVS. No thank you. Actually, I might have. I watched a cut of BVS, and I never seem to be missing out on the things that people talk about, so I might have accidentally caught the extended cut to start with. That's the way it was with Watchmen with me, is I accidentally saw the extended cut first, and I was like, wow, this is a really long movie. And then I watched the shortened version much later. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Harley Quinn cartoons, it is. I've only caught several scattershot episodes, but every joke I've seen is just, it lands for me. Hello again, Tyler. Nice to meet you up here on the wall. But yeah, when it comes down to Snyder Cut, it's just one of those things that I'm already sitting here bored doing absolutely nothing for most of the time. So why not just watch it, It's not something that's... It's something that is, I think, going to be a big enough, like, well, people are probably going to talk about this in the circles I run in, so I may as well know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. My cat just ran out in the living room. What did it see? What did it hear? Suicide Squad, Aquaman, and Man of Steel. I would add Wonder Woman to that list, and I would add Shazam in what you should see. Those are two solid. Yes, most of DC, like, I will never defend the DC movies ever, like, over top of Marvel, especially not. Marvel kick their ass up and down, and it's not even a contest. But I'm still on, at least for now, the DC Comics, so that whole extended universe thing all ties together. I didn't see Aquaman. That's the one I didn't see otherwise. I saw the entire, like, final battle, because I saw some video that essentially broke it down and be like, here's why this just is a terrible, awful climax and nobody should like it. So I saw that pretty much all together. Plus, again, I just feel bad for the DC guys in that, like, the entire thing of an extended universe that you're going to be running forever, not actually ever, but foreseeable future, is you got to lock down your actors. You have to just keep them. And I feel like they just failed on all fronts with that. You lose your Batman. You just picked the wrong Joker. Amber Heard is terrible in every regard of the word. Like, everybody you bring in just slowly one by one is just like, not coming back, not coming back, not coming back. It took them what? Like, not counting the recasts that were necessary, it took Marvel... Honestly, I cannot... How long did it take Marvel to get someone who just wasn't coming back and... like, for an established character? Like, a main character. Because you had Hulk. Like, that's the one. But even then, that's shaky because it belonged to Universal. So, I don't know about that one. And then you had Rhodey, who... I honestly think that's the better recast out of anything. Yeah, Norton. He's the only one. And even then, like, oh no, we have to ignore the Incredible Hulk movie. Whatever will we do? But they got a lock on everybody else. The only thing that's going to cause problems moving forward now is the fact that Chadwick Boseman died. Like, that's something that I don't, like, there's not a lot of writing that can get you around that, especially if you want to continue. If you just ignore the entire Black Panther side of the universe, yeah, you can get around it easy. But I don't think there's a way to really bring back the Black Panther universe unless you go the bringing back Tarkin in Rogue One sort of stuff. I feel like that would be more disrespectful, though, Fletcher. Like, they have to balance the respect for the actor with the character itself, and I don't think there's a good way to do that. So, yeah. I mean, if they can pull it off, they'll figure out how to pull it off. They've done crazier things in pulling stuff off. Star! Get the star! Tyler with the jump! Missed the jump. Yeah. But again, is anybody... got it. Is anybody really, like, besides... Why am I forgetting his name? Whoever Black Panther's, like, real name is anybody besides him actually Black Panther? Like, does Shuri ever pick up the title of Black Panther? I know that, like, Jane Foster Thor was the thing. I know there's been a couple people who picked up Iron Man armor. A couple people have been Captain America. Has there anybody really been Black Panther, though? T'Challa, that's it. In the comic she does. Alright, if she does, then they can do it. They can pull it out. But I honestly, they were setting her up to be a more independent character of just like her using her abilities and stuff. Although they did have that part in Black Panther where she was about to step forward to challenge her brother, wasn't there? So they could do something there. But again, it's going to be real tough because they aren't able to have T'Challa do something. You know, they aren't able to have him hand it over. It's just going to be something that, like, and he died over there, or they have to CGI in the character. Either way, it's not going to last well. Probably. I agree, also. They'll probably figure out something. But it's going to be tough, is my only thing. I think that they might have to do it in a different franchise. Explain that a bunch of people died in a different franchise, or Wakanda was attacked in a different franchise, and then have the Black Panther movie pick up from there. Shang-Chi, Namor, yeah. If they can... Tyler, the entire DC universe was worse than Iron Fist. They can make worse than Iron Fist. But no, when it that's the problem with you know, and I'm not monetized, who gives a shit? I'm not, with all the quarantine stuff, it's not a it's not an issue of like, I hope they still make the thing. It's an issue of how long is the thing gonna be delayed, and will it show up in the same form? Because I mean, like, everyone's still with Black Widow, with WandaVision, all that stuff of, well, how's it going to be released? When's it going to be released? They're not saying if it's going to be released. It's still there. They still did it. It's just a matter of how and when. And I think they filmed quite a few of those. Like, I think Eternals was pretty far in. I think Shang-Chi was pretty far in. I don't know. Now, when you say every season of Arrow, Tyler, does that include, like, the ones that just ended? Like, are you still doing that? Because if you had, like, the first two and consider that every season of Arrow, because after that it stopped being Arrow, I get that. I understand that. But you still, like now, 1 to 8 and all the... I mean, I can't say anything. What with my giant thing of comics, I can't say anything in terms of stop at some point. So I'm not going to criticize that. But the question more is why? Like, Why? One of my first roommate that I had, he had the entire series of Smallville on DVD, like just this giant box set, which I can kind of get, but at the same time, all of it. No other DC TV shows. How do you even like? What did they do for Crisis? What did they do for any of the crossovers? Do they have all those on the discs? Do they have every episode from all the other shows? Amel is great. I'm not going to say he's not great, but Elite is only as good as their scripts. As good as the projects they're put in. And after season 2. Black Widow doesn't catch a break because that movie should have been made a long time ago. It's the same thing with Wonder Woman. I feel bad for DC because they got the cyberpunk treatment, but they couldn't, like, it was against their will. Like, they were like, we're putting out this movie, and they had like a bunch of covers made for tie-ins and stuff like that, and the movie got delayed, and they're like, shit, okay, hold on to the covers. And then finally they're like, all right, release the covers. We also have this special tie-in comic that you should get because it's coming out like next week. And then right when that happened, I think was when Tenet failed, and they're like, shit, all right, canon, it's not coming out, guys. It'll come out Christmas. We can be done with this by then, right? Oops. I don't think they're all on the Arrows that I haven't. That's fair. I mean, I haven't read all the comics either, so. I think there are shows you can just watch over and over again. Doesn't make sense. We just, oh yeah. What was the there's one that popped on just the other day that is like just it's not a great show, but you can just it's the equivalent of comfort food, you know? Pre-COVID, they had a movie ready, but Pat Jenkins wanted to delay it or something. DC Universe should never been a media platform. Should have been HBO Max from the start. Cindy, for you, yeah. Like, I know there were delays already, but like, I feel like those are just normal, like, okay, reshoots and whatever delays. Like, it wasn't something that was like, no, the movie is completely ready, but we're delaying it anyway. I feel like it was a delay of like, okay, we're not actually ready, and we just need to do this thing. Tyler, yeah. But the thing is I don't think... Because all that stuff happened after, like, all the shakeups and, like, leadership changes and stuff like that. I think that... Especially because that was a good, like, what, year and a half of DC Universe? So they were probably planning DC Universe... came out with DC Universe, and like just as DC Universe was coming out, HBO Max was like, wait a minute, we can do that. And they're like, guys, we already made this over here for DC. I'm like, yeah, but we can do this. I'm like, okay, well, if you decide not to, we're just going to continue doing our own thing over here. It's like, okay, but we're gonna. And then they did. And at that same point, DC was like, shit, we fired everybody. Send it all over. I have all the Once Upon a Time seasons. It's not a great show, but I can watch it over and over. Yeah, again, it's just comfort food. It's just sort of thing of serialized TV. It's just, and especially Once Upon a Time, because all those characters within themselves are just comfort food. They're all the characters that you know and love, but revamped for a modern generation. I never saw Titans. I never watched any of the DC Universe shows, except the scattershot episodes of Harley Quinn. None of them particularly appealed to me. Sorry. My cat has taken to... It wants to lay on my lap. But it can't just jump up into my lap. It has to claw its way up the side of my chair, up, around, down onto the armrest, and then get into my lap. I did... Okay, for Doom Patrol, I did try to get through it. But... I think I was watching it legally. Entirely legally, and yet for some reason when I was trying to watch that first episode legally, there was a lot of buffering and ads on this legal platform that I legally was watching, perhaps through a Chinese server. Anyway, it just kind of was like taking me out of the experience, and I just wasn't in the mood for that. Are they still doing Titans? Like, is Titans season, what are they on, 3? 2? 3? Is that still a thing? New Titans eventually is Nightwing. Oof, Tyler, I feel bad for you. Nightwing being your favorite character. Season 3, yeah. I thought I heard they were doing something. I mean, that's just the problem with TV in general. Like, when it comes to comic book stuff, if in every comic book there's a fight, and it's usually a big damn fight for no reason. Like, they just fight, and they feel like they got to translate that into the show star. They feel like they got to translate that into the show, but it's like someone has to choreograph that. They have to get multiple cameras. They have to do a lot of quick editing. Like, it's a lot more effort to do a fight, and Cindy just missed it. In terms of better actors, again, I think an actor is only as good as their lines, script, whatever you want to say. God, it's a big image. Okay. Alright. I don't hate it. I think it already being a little bit cracked and bruised is kind of stupid. Like, show that happening instead of it just being there, but... I do like how, like, I don't know, a year ago, all of a sudden people were like, wait a minute, hold on, stop. Why don't we give the Red Hood an actual hood that is red? And everyone just shit their collective pants. They're like, oh my, you're right. And then everything, comics, TV, all of his adaptations were like, hey, look, we gave him a red hood. What? Haven't been able to see Wonder Woman, even though I've only heard good things because I can't get any of my money. Stephen Minji drives me nuts. He's a producer. Elsa, I'm not gonna be the one to tell you this, but you don't necessarily need money. As Tyler so elegantly proved when he showed me how to watch Happy Death Day, if I so choose, without money. There are ways. Just saying. If you want to watch it. If you don't, if you just hate him as a producer enough that it will impact the work on its own, then yeah, don't watch it. Don't put yourself through something you're not going to like. Unless you're being paid $30 a month. I like it on the outside aspect. Maybe the mask will look better in action. Here's the thing. Has he died? Did he die and come back? Or is this just him being extra broody because they can't actually use Damien? Because, I mean, that's what Damien's doing right now. It's just a little shit. Yeah, that's Damien. Like, if they can't actually use him, then whatever. I don't know. I'm Titans started season 1 with them building the Titans, right? I'm iffy on how they are just sprinting through Legacy, you know? I'd rather they take some time. Say, hey, like... Son of a bitch knocked over my comic box. Anyway. Emotionally, he died inside because some of the Titans were mean to him. Oh. That's a reason. That is totally equivalent to dying and being driven mad by the process of rebirth in the Lazarus pit. That's practically the same thing. Look, I know 3 of you put as the answer of what tattoo I would get is Red Hood. Here's the thing. I don't much care for Red Hood one way or the other. I simply have to do the balancing act with Peter. He is so absolutely negative against it, as is everyone else on the show. Therefore, I have to provide the positive in order to balance it out. So... I think Red Hood is an interesting character and can be done well in proper hands. I enjoyed the animated movie Under the Red Hood. Haven't seen Death in the Family yet. Seen some clips from it though. Seems in concept fine, in execution poor. But when it comes to Red Hood, Jason Todd, if you've read the end of Three Jokers, hell, if you've read any of Three Jokers, that's the character done poorer than it should be in those hands. If you read Under the Red Hood, that's a character done very well. If you read the past 10 years of him in canon, that's a character done poorly in poor hands. So, season 1 was mostly about Dick realizing he stopped rooting and do something. Yeah, that's the end of... That's the end of Robin. Like, I get it, but, like, the end of Robin should dovetail exactly into the beginning of Nightwing. It shouldn't be the end of Robin, 2 seasons, the beginning of Nightwing. It needs to be, he's on a team with some friends as Robin. He grows distant from Batman and spends more time with the team. He then decides to separate entirely from Batman, following some whatever. And then Nightwing. Wasn't there a really stupid death at the end of Season 2 Titans? I don't particularly care about spoilers, but if anybody else in chat does, don't read chat. It's frustrating to me that DC has such great characters and they don't produce great shows and movies on a consistent basis. I can only imagine how you all vote. Yeah! I mean, that's why I was all in on the Black Label stuff, in just putting out good goddamn stories. Don't worry about like anything else. Just take these great characters and put in God's goddamn stories. And it's that they think like, okay, well, we can just take the characters and put the same stories we've done 4 billion times, and we'll just do it. Who wants Felicity? Yeah, animated stuff's fantastic. If you haven't yet seen the, I forget the name of it, the adaptation of American Alien, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, most recent animated one. It's great. It's a great sort of thing on like, what is human, what is alien. It's just a good look at Superman through that lens, and I very much enjoyed it. Very modern. Court of Owls, didn't they do that on Gotham? Wasn't there a season of Court of Owls? An attempted season of Court of Owls? What the hell? I'm not looking at chat. Or cats. What the hell is everyone? I'm just seeing things go flying. We don't talk about Gotham, it was so bad. Followed up by, I did watch that. I enjoyed it. Well, duke it out. Punch each other. Whoever goes flying is the wrong one. Tyler's got the star. Is that enough? Tyler's still jumping. Christopher might have to lead. Fletcher, you had enough? Alright, no problem, man. I get it. Oh, American Alien. That's fair. Yeah, no, American Alien. I actually picked it up recently because it wasn't part of my original collection plan, so. Good night, Fletcher. I hope you enjoyed the 12-hour stream, the during show, the after party, and whatever else you did. See you next time. Maybe Tuesday. Keep an eye on that. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell and smash that like button and sacrifice a goat to the elder gods. Mostly the bell. Where was I? Anyway, yeah, I'm American Alien. Yeah, I picked that up recently. It's obviously a whole lot was cut out for Man of Tomorrow because a lot of it isn't a flowing narrative. But what they did include, I really enjoyed. I wish Max Landis wasn't such a fucking ass. Only so much you can get, though. My brother, I picked him up Mr. Miracle as a trade because I let him read it in... Hello, Tyler. I let him read it in a single issue format, the Tom King book, Mr. Miracle. And he enjoyed it. And then months passed, and he's like, you know, I kind of want to read that again. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to my comic shop. I just picked him up the trade of it, because I was like, here you go. I mean, just let it read. And apparently he's read it like 15 times since then. And I'm like, fucking what? And he's like, I just really, really like that book. I was like, that's fine, but like 15 times? I don't think I've watched my favorite movies 15 times. Hello, Elsa. Whoever else was bombed, I'm sorry. I believe you flew off. Cindy, maybe? Yeah, no, it's a fantastic story. I do agree, but he then asked me, he was like, hey, is DC doing anything with the New Gods? Like, do they have any stories? I was like, no, they do nothing with the New Gods. The last time we really got a thing just New Gods focused was like Final Crisis, and that is not what you're reading. He was like, oh, okay. And I was like, there was a Jack Kirby like anniversary special. I can get you that. And I picked up an omnibus of the Fourth World, like the original Jack Kirby stories. But if you like the decompressed nature of Mr. Miracle, you will hate this omnibus because it is classic, like stuff as many words in as you possibly can to every panel storytelling. And I let him read it, and I have yet to hear back from it, but I have a feeling he's not going to get past like one issue of that. Try to get Cindy up there. I mean, I could fucking, let me just click on the thing and then boop. Fletcher, boop. Elsa, boop. Cindy, there you go. Just don't walk off. And Christopher, right. Boop, Christopher too. Have a little party up here. Fletcher. Oh wait, Fletcher left. So keep an eye on him. He should despawn after 5 minutes. Oh, and Cindy fell off. Fletcher fell off, and everyone else is crouching. Anybody else say anything? No, just talking about that. Anyway, yeah, that was my bit on Mr. Miracle. Is anyone reading Strange Adventures? Because I posted a 1,500 word thesis on Strange Adventures after issue 6 came out. Because I did a whole hell of a lot of translating. And let me tell you, I don't think I have it figured out, but I think I have a theory. And it's a really weird one. Morrison's one of the few writers everyone loves that I can't get into. No, I get it, man. I love the concept of multiversity. Like, I will pop open that trade and I will go through the guidebook time after time after time after time. But I tried reading through it and I didn't. No idea. No idea what the hell was going on. I mean, I got the gist of it, but like as soon as it was like, oh, here's the Rubik's Cube that like changed the world. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You okay, Grant? I don't get it. Anyway, Strange Adventures, yes. So my idea is, so the Pict, this is going to sound really fucking weird for anybody who isn't reading it, but the Pict, they speak in their own language that nobody can understand. It's in that coded language. But in that one issue 4, Mr. Terrific, he learns it and he translates a message on the same page, giving us a bunch of letters that we have a 1-to-1 ratio to. So it's like a Rosetta Stone sort of situation. So then if you go back and you look at the Pict's speech bubbles earlier in the book, you can translate them. And they say something like, oh, we're prepared to fire, General, and blah, 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 blah. But if you go back to issue 1, all of the Picts speak in straight up English, like we can understand them, which is strange to me. Like, why would the Pict then, like, they speak to Adam in English, which kind of makes sense, but they also speak to each other in English, which doesn't, like, why would you speak to your own people in a language that is not your natural language, especially one that grants you no military advantage whatsoever? But then issue 6 came out, and in this issue they went and they tried to have like a little, like, the terms of war conversation with some Pict ambassadors, and there were 3 of them. And when they talked to the first one, you can translate what the first one says, and he's like, you could have come here and just surrendered, but you chose death, and now we're going to kill you. And because you got Dark Cat. Badass. That's every one of them comes in stages of 3. That's the final evolution of Axe Cat. That cat. Anyway, because she couldn't understand the Pict language, she's like, okay, well, you could have answered us in English, but you didn't, so I'm taking it as a no. And shot the guy, and shot the second guy who responded in Pict with like I'm pretty sure he said "oh beans" when he's getting shot. But then when it came to the third Pict, he fires off a shot trying to get to them, like trying to shoot Adam and his wife, but it's in gibberish. Like when you translate it, it means nothing. And from that point on, all future translations of the Pict language are gibberish. Where everything beforehand was completely translatable, everything afterwards is gibberish. Which makes me think that that's the turning point. That right there was where it stopped being true. That this is parts that were just made up for the book, for the Strange Adventures book. That's my theory. Even the part at the end, when Adam is laying unconscious and he's taken, and there's a bunch of speech bubbles and picked, all of it is gibberish. And neither of them are conscious at that point, which also marks the first point throughout the entire retelling of either story that it can't be from either of their perspectives, because neither of them are conscious to know that someone was standing over them talking to them. It's just good storytelling. That's my theory. Makes sense to me too, but then again, I'm 5:15 in the morning here, so pretty sure you could tell me that lobsters are mostly aliens. I'd be like, yeah, you know, that kind of they look freaky. So yeah, I'm into Strange Adventures. A lot of people are saying it's taking too long to get to the reveal, but I'm like, no, for a mystery book, it's probably shouldn't reveal that too soon. I do think that it might have been better as 6 issues, because it doesn't have as much going on as Mr. Miracle inherently. But if we're talking about how Tom King could decompress a story, this is about as decompressed as it can get. Dude, I feel, here's the thing. I'm sure there's some sort of NDA. You have a penguin? You got Brave Cat. Oh man. Tyler, where you at? You're Dark Cat versus Elsa Brave Cat. Fight. Warriors of good, warriors of darkness, and then macho armed cat there with the mohawk. Oh man, he flew in the battle. It's possible. It's entirely possible. We got 6 more issues to solve it out. But no, when it comes to Heroes in Crisis, if you look at the original solicits for Heroes in Crisis, like as they were coming out, and what the solicits said the story was supposed to be, oh, they hugged. That's adorable. Maybe we don't have to fight. Maybe there doesn't have to be so much war. If I can change, you can change. Everyone can change. Alright, but no, if you look at the original solicits, they resemble the story not at all. Like, they are absolutely different. Which makes me think that there were some late stage changes, which is why they also added an additional issue in there, if you remember correctly. I think that they were just like, look, it's corporate meddling, we're doing whatever the hell we want. Yeah, because honestly, in the end, it wasn't really about, like, PTSD, like he wanted to say at the beginning. In the end, it mostly came down to, like, oh, you gotta spend time with your friends or whatnot. It's like, that's not, what? The whole wrap up to the PTSD part was when Superman talked to everybody and said, like, look, we're normal people. That was like issue 6. Clayman is fantastic. He is. He doesn't get enough work, but then again, I'm not sure how fast he is either. So maybe he gets just enough work that he can handle. I don't know. Either way, and you know what? I want to see if I can actually DC Heroes in Crisis solicits. Nope, that's the entire trade. May 2019. All right, so that's where I gotta look. DC May 2019. Oh god. What website even has it anymore? Seriously, what website even has it anymore? There's Deceased. There's some other shit. Where in the hell is Heroes and Crisis? Heroes. Oh, finale? What? I don't want the finale. Hero in Crisis obviously changed. I think it's the same with this current Batman run. Timelines and character arcs are also... Well, the Batman run we know for sure. He, You alright there? Sorry, I'm just seeing the past tense where Tyler flipped over. Anyway, here, the Batman run obviously changed because that was supposed to be like 112, 108, 120, and it got cut to 85, and we're only just now about to get the Batman Catwoman now out of canon finale. Like, yeah, that clearly changed. But I don't think... The thing is, you can clearly pinpoint where it changed. You can see the exact moment. The wedding issue. The wedding issue happened. People weren't happy with the fact they didn't marry. And then there was still some good stories after that, but those were the ones that were already written. Then we got into the whole, like, nightmares plot and stuff like that, and everyone was like, this kinda sucks. And by the time he wanted to wrap it up, people were pretty much done with it, and he just needed to be off the book ASAP. So, and plus, I'm pretty sure that it came out. He was not going to kill Alfred. 100% Alfred was going to live through that, or at least come back. He had a way to bring him back, but then DC was like, no, we're gonna leave him dead for a while. And they did. I don't think King ever intended Nightwing to have amnesia. Probably not. No, I think. Have to go outside running. That's fine, Elsa. Yeah, no, I think that, again, I think all of this is blocked by NDAs. You'll never even get this if you talk to them, like, privately at a Comic-Con. You're only going to get it, like, if they go full Alan Moore. Just like, fuck it all. Here you go. But no, when it came to, Nightwing, I think that it's one of those, like, story hook sort of things. Where they're like, okay, they want to do something. They want to switch up Nightwing or whatever. And I think they were switching out whatever writer it was at the time for a new writer. And they're like, okay, well, what do you want us to do to give you a new hook? And they're like, give me amnesia or something like that. And I think that was supposed to be wrapped up in like a couple issues. But then DC's like, you know what? Just keep it. Just keep it for like a year or two. And they did. Oops. Current runs changed the same way. The follow-up to the end of Joker War was more of this out of continuity. Yeah. I don't... See, they're doing the same thing that they did before, where New 52, they were real focused on, like... Well, not even that. New 52, they were real focused on getting in new readers. That was the whole point of New 52. And so they were like, man, look at all those big-ass numbers on these books. Nobody's going to know how to jump in on Detective Comics 890 whatever. No, we need to lower it down. We need to bring some in low numbers that people know they can just jump in here. But they never told any of their writers, hey, when we're rebooting the universe, some stuff did happen. And they said, what happened? They're like, whatever you need to happen for the book to happen. Just make sure it could have happened in 5 years. And then Jeff Johns raised his hand and he's like, hey, yeah, I'm still in the middle of my massive, epic Green Lantern story. Can I have everything happen? Like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then someone else raised their hand like, wait a minute, Blackest Night happens? Like, well, no, it didn't happen like that, but it did happen. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then Scott Snyder raised his hand. He's like, hey, so I don't really want to redo all of the Batman mythos, but we still can't get rid of it. So can I just have all the Batman mythos? And DC's like, yeah, no, clearly. And that same guy raises his hand. He's like, wait a minute. So he's on his 4th Robin, and it's been 5 years since he started. And then DC was like, yeah, what's the problem with that? Like, fucking, we kill these kids all the time. And DC unmasked. It was Dan DiDio. Anyway. Oh yeah, no, New 52 Batman was fantastic. That was the first trade I picked up out of anything. It was that, and then I immediately went on to Justice League, New 52. So, yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not a good run, but in terms of knowing what the hell they're doing, just look at fucking Superman during the beginning of the New 52. No one had any idea. Are his parents alive or dead? Did he die? Did he fight Doomsday? Is he dating Lois Lane? I was like, what the fuck even happened? And it's even within the same Superman books, because Grant Morrison wanted to write the beginnings of Superman, but they still had a Superman book right in Superman. So when the Superman writer was like, hey, Grant, what are you doing over there? He's like, oh, he's like, what? I'm like, it's Grant, just let him do his thing. It's like, yeah, but I have to say what comes afterwards. What if he like changes up stuff? And he did, because he's Grant Morrison, and continuity means everything and nothing to him. Anyway, the whole reason I bring that up is that it's the same thing they're doing now. In like, continuity matters, but like, now we're approaching this world of what really happened. Well, the New 52 happened. We're still dealing with those characters. But Dr. Manhattan wiped the board, and now they're remembering everything. So they're technically pre-New 52 characters. But did Dr. Manhattan even happen? Because nobody else is talking about the fact that Dr. Manhattan happened. It's like nobody knows what's in continuity, what's out of continuity, and I pray that Scott Snyder is going to be able to do something at the end of Death Metal to say, like, here it is. This is it. This is continuity. Just stop adding things. But even if he does, I guarantee you that Jeff Johns probably didn't get with him about the ending of Three Jokers before they wrote the ending of Death Metal. And that messes with continuity even more. So none of it makes sense. All of it is terrible. But hey. Okay, Fletcher did despawn at some point. So did Cindy. Cindy didn't say goodbye, did she? Did I miss that? Boop, boop, boop. Cindy said goodnight to Fletcher, not to me. How dare she? I have faith in Death Metal, but I still... Oh yeah, no, nothing's gonna fix it all. That's kind of why I wanted 5G, not for the fact of superheroes being replaced by younger versions, but because in the lead up to 5G, they had the timeline. They laid it out. They said, here are the things that happened. And they were just gonna stick with it. That's gone. That's off the table. Because as soon as you say that, well then, hey, you didn't include that thing I liked. Well, the thing you like couldn't possibly have happened is, well, you didn't include that thing I liked. Hey, Marvel, would you include that thing I like? Sure, we've never had a reboot over here. Yeah, I'm going over there. Marvel. Scott Snyder was the janitor at the end of Thursday. Was he? Like, was he actually? I missed that. I can get that book out easily. I kind of want to re-see it. You know what? I am. Hold on. Wow. Three Jokers. Number 3. Bagged and boarded. Like a good little comics nerd. And this ain't your plastic shit. This is Mylar. This is that classy shit. Alright, where you at, Mr. Janitor? Oh, you meant figuratively. I was like, I didn't see his face at all here. That was such a stupid sequence, though. It was such a stupid sequence. Why would you tape it to the door instead of just sliding it under the door? Why would you not even just text it to her? I get handwritten is more like, you know, but... in a place with apartments, you would think that the landlord might be taping stuff to doors, so why would the janitor just sweep up things that may be from, like, the landlord? At the most, you should look to see if there's, like, an apartment number on it. Nope, you just keep sweeping. And, of course, breaking all continuity, Alfred's alive. So, I like Doomsday Class, but John's the same. Three Jokers was not so great. I only halfway paid attention to Shazam. Like, I flipped through it once Prime showed up. I flipped through it a little bit earlier on, but for the most part, it felt like a whatever series to me. If anything, I really enjoyed that last issue. the one that wasn't by John's, like after John said the end, and then the last guy came in and said, "Oh, and I got issue 14." I like that issue. That one was just fun. That was a nice one. But you know what I think it was? I think the janitor at the end is, if not the audience insert, then the DC editorial insert, where they're like, no, we're not gonna fucking pair up Red Hood and Barbara. You wanted a story with them together, you got it. Stop thinking it's a thing. She's already with Dick, and we're not going to take the woman who's recovered from being paralyzed and fought through all this stuff and put her in the middle of a love triangle. You think we're that low? Yes, you are that low. I guarantee you're going to do it. Oh yeah, but when it comes to Doomsday Clock, it was Lobdell. Yeah. You know what that is? That's Lobdell. Lobdell's the janitor. And that he took that idea and he's brushing it away with him. He's taking it off the panel with him. There you go. That's what it is. It's like, well, if you don't want my idea, I'm just gonna bring it over here. Speaking of which, did anyone read Red Hood 50? Jesus Christ, that was awful. Like, it didn't wrap up anything. It kind of, sort of, maybe wrapped up Jason and Artemis. But they just... I don't want to ruin it for you, Tyler. But first off, you need to finish 49. You definitely need to finish 49. But when it comes to 50, the entire thing was Lobdell was sitting there, twiddling his pen, trying to think of what to write. He's like, well, I've already got the pages where I wrapped up Artemis and Jason. Who am I forgetting? Well, Arsenal's dead. Starfire doesn't really matter. I could write her in a little bit. What else is there? And then all of a sudden, just, oh shit! I forgot about the Joker's daughter. So he went back to issue 47 and he wrote a story about the Joker's daughter so that you could remember the Joker's daughter was a thing during Red Hood Arsenal. And then he took an entire oversized 50th issue to wrap up not just Joker's daughter's relationship with Red Hood, but her character as a whole. They were like, okay, Punchline's a thing now, and Harley's got her own sort of stuff going on. We just need to take Joker's daughter, peel off that stupid fucking face mask, and just get her on her way. Just get the hell out of continuity, goddammit. And they did. They just put her back home. They say, go back home to mom and dad. And she's like, okay, bye. And she did. And then they just ended the book. And I'm like, holy shit. You genuinely just did that. Bravo. I'm kind of impressed. Yeah. But it was so... Because, like, I know that Joker's daughter launched pre-Flashpoint. Briefly. Very, very, very briefly. I can't even remember where. But she really came to her own during the New 52. And by her own, I mean that little ball of stupid that she lives in. But when if you look through her history, nothing happened. She had a one-shot that described, like, I'm the Joker's daughter, and here's why I'm so crazy. And then maybe she popped up, like, once or twice. And then Red Hood Arsenal happened. And then that story with Nightwing happened. And then nothing. And then they just wrapped up her story. It's like the most non-story that could have been wrapped up. But which of the Jokers is she the daughter of? One more second. I have in my hands Justice League Darkseid War, Volume 7. Let's just go to the page where Batman sits on a chair. And Superman doing his thing. There's Batman. Oh, is that it? Oh, one issue back. There it is. Ahem. I can hear them. The answers to everything. Are they real? Is this real? Ping. Who killed my parents? Ping. Yes, Joe Chill, that's right. ... What's the Joker's true name? Ping. No, that's not possible. And then he's a god. I've seen some theories online, because the original theories were he asked the chair a question that he knew the answer to verify that the chair knew what in the hell he was doing. Like, that it was legit, that it was like, okay, yes, you actually know stuff. And then the Joker thing, he was like, I have all the knowledge, I want to know this now. And so he asked the chair that. But now the new theories are he was still asking verification questions. He was like, okay, the Joe Chill one was easy. Here's a hard one. And when the chair didn't give him the answer he expected, by saying there are three of them, he was like, oh, shit. So it kind of fits in with what Three Jokers was saying in terms of those last, 2 pages? Yeah. Where it was like, oh, well, actually, he did know the whole time. It's like, okay. All right. Fine. Whatever. Clearly, that wasn't thought out 5 years ago. But fine. If you want to take that route, we'll let you take that route. Because I'm fine with a good retcon. I'm fine with something as long as it makes sense. Oh, God, the secret. God. Maybe I just need to reread Killing Joke as well, but I really hate how this is, like, the comedian, because that's what he is now, the comedian, despite the fact that Watchmen had a claim on that however long ago, but whatever, the comedian is all pissed off at her because he doesn't have a job. And apparently that's enough to be like abuse to the point where she has to go to the police and secretly get away and live in Alaska for the past, I mean, that kid can't be older than 6. I'll give it 10, maybe, depending on the art. So let's say 10. Mind you, those flashbacks are clearly the 50s. And now it's the 2020s. So it's been 10 years, but also 70. Just watch the Killing Joke movie so you can get creepy. I don't want to do that. Why gotta, I don't want to do that. Man, don't make me do that. The best thing to come out of Three Jokers is if you got it physically, you got the 3 Joker cards. That's the best thing to come out of it, because I'm going to somehow display these along with all my Dark Knight Original Metal pins. Still working on how, though. Some sort of shadow box, I'm sure. Honestly, I can't see... You know how, like, when Killing Joke ended, that was out of continuity, but it gave a hook that a future writer picked up on and made Babs crippled. I can't really see any future writer picking up on any of these. Like, none of these strike me as, oh, we're going to continue the story of Joker finds out he has a kid. We're going to continue the story of Jason and Babs' romance. I don't even think they're going to continue the fact that Babs straight up knows, like, admits to her dad that she's Batgirl, and they know that each other know. I think they're just going to bury that again. Like, I don't think anything here... The only thing that might stick, maybe, is... Spoilers again, because apparently there are 7 concurrent viewers. None of you are talking, but that's fine. You don't have to. The only thing that might stick is Joe Chill's death. Because I think that was handled well. I think it was handled well because it was a decent end. It was a... Batman saved, quote-unquote, Joe Chill. He heard Joe Chill's, reasoning, and it wasn't terrible. It was handled well. I think that's the only thing that might stick. But that's only going to stick up until the next time they fuck around with time and change it, aka January. I mean, Babs pretty lame. Felicity had her pronounce this character in like 2 episodes. See, the issue was they didn't put Babs in heels. That's the problem. That's like a +6 on regen. You just put him in heels. It's not going to, though, Tyler. That's the thing. They're not going to care about that part of the story. They're going to care about the fact that just Joe Chill's dead. That's it. Joe Chill's dead. Moving on. Like, it's not going to change his psychology. It's just going to be like, okay, Joe Chill, he's dead now. He's over there. The same sort of thing of, I was so surprised. I was so extremely surprised when in both Teen Titans and the Warzone special that they both referenced specifically how Alfred died. That Bane snapped his neck in front of Damian. Like that it got that specific. Because I guarantee you down the line, if they keep Alfred dead, it's just going to become a generic sort of like, and Alfred died back in this period. It's like, well, how'd he die? He died. They might specifically say, like, it was by Bane. But they aren't going to mention that it was in front of Damian. They're not going to mention that Bruce wasn't even there. They're just going to say, like, and Alfred died. Are comics addressing the pandemic? This is a... Let me get a This Week comic. Hold on. Ugh. I got 49. That's not right. Where's 50? Oops. I accidentally put Batgirl 50 behind the annuals. Not supposed to go behind the annuals. Supposed to go behind. Ugh. Batgirl 49. All right. If you want to see how they are addressing the pandemic, these are in every issue. Make sure that's showing up. I'm on the wrong screen. Be a hero. Wear a mask. There also was ones a few months ago saying, like, it was just a white page and it showed like two heroes on opposite sides of the panel, and they were like, social distance, wear a mask. Additionally, we're getting 2-page spreads of Rock the Vote and going through like, oh, here's Susan B. Anthony, and here's some voting stuff, and here's why you should definitely vote. Also, have you ever seen a 2-page Snickers ad? These are in all of them. 2-page Snickers ads. Fantastic. Especially when they come when you're just about to flip the story. It's like, oh my god, he's throwing the punch in. Boy, a Snickers. Oh, the punch landed. Hate those Snickers ads. Batman Contagion led into Cataclysm. Batman Land is all very great. Yes, to all of those. It's out on my other bookshelf, so I don't even have it. But I have a novelized version of No Man's Land. And I don't want to read it until I get to Contagion and Cataclysm, but seeing as my entire collection is 2011 and later, kind of not easy to get to at the moment. But yeah, no, they, in terms of actually in the comics, not really. Maybe a couple of them are dealing with the pandemic, but for the most part, I think it's just a general comic thing of don't reference things that are happening right now, because we want to kind of make these timeless. So they just kind of boop, or they sidestep it by saying it's something else. Actually, I didn't know there was a novel. I have to go to that. I'm not sure. It's old. Like I didn't buy it. My father bought it when I was a very young child, and I just picked it up. It was a novelization by someone. I read Batman Nightwalker about Bruce the Teen. It wasn't bad. I remember they wrote that as a novel, and then they adapted it to a graphic novel almost immediately afterwards, and there was a free comic book day like sampler of it, and I picked up that. Nah, my dad wasn't. I mean, well, you know what? Now I think about it, he probably was. He wasn't like a huge comic nerd. He had a couple. He had from Marvel the death of Harry Osborn. He had that issue that was signed by one of the artists, I believe, and that was sat, bagged, and boarded in his office for a while. I remember that one. But he didn't have like other comics. It was just, you know, the occasional one. But yeah, he had that Batman book, and I remember there was a Halloween costume of the Michael Keaton Batman cowl, like a full-on rubber, like the cowl, and it was like from the late 80s, so it was degrading terribly. We had to get rid of it, but he had that, so I guess he was somewhat. Mind you, it didn't influence me at all. Like, I just got into comics because I lived next to a comic shop for a year, and I was like, well, may as well. I kind of want to. I got disposable income now that I'm living on my own, and I want to see what all this hubbub is about. I hate punchlines so much. I shouldn't. It's a perfectly fine character. Christopher, yes, of course. If you need to sleep, sleep. I'll probably wrapping up soon anyway, because I have work tomorrow too. Yay. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Christopher. Tuesday, if the world has not exploded yet, we'll try to do something then. Otherwise, enjoy your week. See you around. But yeah, what was I saying? I can't remember. I live next to a comic shop. That was it. I got disposable income, and I was like, "Hey, I always like comic book, the idea of it." And by then, I think we were already like 5 or 6 movies deep into the MCU. And I was like, "Well, let's go check it out at the comic shop." And I was like, "Hey, comic shop guy, I'm new. I want to get into comics. When was the last reboot? When was the last jumping on point?" And he was like, "Well, DC is in the middle of convergence right now, which is not a good jumping on point." I'm actually expecting that, Tyler. DC is in the middle of convergence right now, and is not a good jumping on point. And the last reboot was back in like 2011. It was 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. And I was like, okay, all right, fair enough. And Marvel? And they're like, well, Marvel is just about to start something called All New, All Different, which is just following up after a thing of Secret Wars, which theoretically should be a good jumping on point. It should be a good point for new readers to come on, because you're not, like, it's going to be all new and all different. You're not going to know anything. I was like, okay, but when's that happening? And they're going to be like, it's going to be in like 3 or 4 months. And I was like, I want to get something now. So what happened in 2011? And he pointed me to Batman, and that's where I started. So the only reason that I picked DC over Marvel was because I didn't show up 3 months later. That was it. And I just went back. I collected all the trades in the New 52 because I'm a fucking idiot. And then when Rebirth rolled around, I decided, well, I may as well start getting these in single issues, because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier than trying to track down the trades, especially considering the fact that there are like 5 or 6 things in the New 52 that weren't collected in trades and are a real pain in the ass to try to find. So if I just get the single issues as they come out, no problems, right? Turns out no problems consistently. Because unless you have your rules very clearly defined on what you are and are not picking up, you're going to have to go back and find the old comics anyway. For instance, I didn't think I was ever going to bother picking up the Hanna-Barbera Looney Tunes crossovers with the DC heroes. Until I did. And by the time I did, Tom King's Batman / Elmer Fudd cost me $40 fucking dollars. $40 fucking dollars for Batman Elmer Fudd. Also, there were a couple that cost extra as well, but that one was the one I was like, fuck. Because here's the thing. I needed the first printing, and I needed the normal cover. If I was willing to go with second printing or variant cover, I could have gotten it for like 10, maybe. But no, I had to get that fucking first printing. And then, circling right on back to why I hate Punchline, Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, number 3. The first appearance of Punchline. I actually did have that on order at my comic shop. I had the first 2 issues. The problem being is that the damn collectors The people who said, oh, his first appearance, someone who might be as popular as Harley Quinn, well, I better buy it, despite the fact I never bought a comic before in my entire life. I'm sure it's going to be worth a whole lot. They all showed up before I made it to the comic shop, and they bought all the issues. So I didn't get the first printing of it. I didn't even get the second printing of it. By the time my comic shop got it, it was the third printing, but that wasn't going to do for me. So no. Instead, I went to eBay, and I bought myself a first printing, first cover variant, or first cover edition. And I got it. I now have it. And it cost me $30 fucking to get. And I don't even fucking care about that story. I don't give a shit about Vera the villain. I don't give a shit about Punchline. But I got it. Oh yeah, all the variant covers for that specific release. Oh, jeez, sorry. That specific release of Looney Tunes crossovers were terrible. I don't know who did them, but like all of them were terrible. The only one, and I don't even think, yeah, because that was Looney Tunes. Yogi Bear Deathstroke. Yogi Bear Deathstroke. That has the best variant cover that honestly I was considering getting besides the known version. Because, like, it's in the normal cover, it's just Deathstroke coming across like a little like sad looking bear in a little pork pie and a tie and collar. But in the variant, it's a vicious fucking grizzly attacking Deathstroke wearing a little pork pie and a tie. I'm like, that's amazing. That's fantastic. That's a great cover. But no, the first line sucked. The first line was terrible. But we had to have Batman Elmer Fudd. Which again, you would think, hey, it's entirely out of continuity. You can just completely ignore it. No, 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 my friend. Because in Tom King's Batman's run, he consistently goes back to Porky's Bar, which was introduced in Batman Elmer Fudd. So if you want to have the first appearance of Porky's Bar, Batman Elmer Fudd. It's awful. Elsa, I know that was a while back, but yes, I have to set limits as rabbit hole. I had very strict limits with when I was starting the New 52. Very strict. It had to say New 52. It couldn't be digital first. I wasn't worrying about backups. I wasn't worrying about getting like all of the trades, only every issue. So I wasn't like worried about story collection versus series collection. I was very specific. But when I hit the end, I hit the end. But that little drive inside of me to keep collecting didn't just go away. So I was like, fuck. What really drove me off was Black Label, because technically it's out of continuity, but they're all still things I want to get. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm collecting out of continuity stuff now. So I had to go back and be like, all right, I guess I'm picking up Supergirl being Super and Nightwing New Order, which I skipped over before because they're out of continuity, whatever. But no. Mr. Miracle drove a whole wedge in that because is that in continuity? Who the hell knows? I'm still unsure. I'm pretty sure no. But whatever. Oh, God. The point I'm trying to say, kids, is if you're not into comics, don't get into comics. Just listen to people like me who will tell you everything you need to know about comics. Go to Mile Fuzz. Watch comics from the multiverse. Which even then, they only pick the comics they like. I think that's a cop-out. I think you're going to go for it. But that would mean some weeks are just hell. Yeah. I mean, that's like, there's some weeks where you're going to read a lot. This particular week, I read Batman 3 Jokers. I read the New God, Rise of the New God, Death Metal tie-in. What else was there? I got my pull list open right here, actually. Boop. What else did I read? I paged through Batgirl just to say that I've had it. I read through Red Hood because, of course. I read through Suicide Squad because Tom Taylor's freaking genius. And Batman Beyond because Booster Gold was on the cover, and I remembered that Booster Gold's in part of the Generations tie-in. So apparently, Batman Beyond, issues 48, 49, and 50 are all going to be Generations tie-ins. Which I don't think they told anybody when they were making it, that those were going to be Generations tie-ins. And I read it, and it seems like kind of a thing. Like, he's going to be around, you know? In the, maybe not in the Future State books, but in that opener and closer things that they got. So, I don't know. I'm intrigued. Not enough to go back and read the rest of Batman Beyond, but I may pay attention to those issues as they're coming out. Either way, it's wrapping up at issue 50. It's not going to stop collecting now. That's the other thing, is that occasionally my comic shop runs out of the normal covers. So I have 2 physical comics that I have the variants of and not the original covers, and I can't be bothered to go and get the original covers. And they are Batman Beyond issue like 43, which whatever. They just didn't order enough books, period. So I had to take a variant cover. And Batman White Knight by Sean Murphy, issue number 1. And that one's going to cost me. But that's my fault because it was out of continuity. And I didn't think I was going to get it until I need to get it. Batman Beyond, I fell pretty far behind. I'm going to read it all when it finishes. It's pretty decent. Yeah, no, from what I've read, it's not bad. It's just like the most inconsequential thing that DC could be putting out. Unless they ever come back to putting out the Inferior 5 book again. And that's it. That's the only thing that's going to be. It's been sitting next to my desk for fucking months now. I have original cover of Batman White Knight issue 2, which I have 2 copies of because the dude sent me all of the copies with the original cover, 2 copies of this one, and then the first copy only in the variant cover. So understandable also, but I also believe that the larger portion of the audience is going to be much more okay with a longer podcast. And I would there are some have you really ever listened to some of the tangents they go off on? They can be cut. We cannot have that. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it occasionally, but there are some times where I'm like, guys, you just spent 10 fucking minutes talking about whether or not this character is decent, and this character didn't even appear in the comic that you're reviewing. Just stop. Tyler, when it comes to extra covers, when it comes to all those bonus variants, I only ever get the one because I had to set limits. I don't worry about the extra stuff. I don't worry about those bonus stuff. I care about the stories inside, and that is all that I worry about. So I get on the barcode for each of the things, this one is Batgirl 50. Barcode says 05011. 050 being the issue number, 1 being the cover number, and the second one being the printing number. I just make sure it ends, all the barcodes that I own end in 11. That's it. That's my only goal. I got 2 for tech because I eventually want to get one signed by Snyder. I see him at Baltimore Comic Con almost every time they have it. This year was online only. And I've gotten a few things signed. I brought my brother along, so I had him sign because Baltimore Comic Con fell on the exact same week that Heroes in Crisis 1 came out. So we were all still in that hype phase. We were all like, oh man, it's the big thing. So I got that signed by him. And then I got Mr. Miracle number 10 signed. The one that has this as its cover, which I have as a mouse pad because I love it. I got him to sign that cover. So that's why I hardly watch anything with Connor. Sometimes a combination of 2 people makes no attention. Yeah, no, I get that. I fully understand that. But it's I feel like after all these years, they should know the signs, and they should be able to stop it themselves. They should be like, okay, all right, off track. But sometimes they just are pushing themselves further. They're just nope, I have to have the last word here. God damn it. Usually that's Pete. Usually Pete has to have the last word. Connor needs to justify himself. Pete has to have the last word, and Matt just has to be able to say what's on his mind. And those 3 together are just an endless cycle. Yeah, he is. It's the amount of time he's right, but neither he nor people get. Yeah. I understand the stuff he goes into. It's just a matter of sometimes you got to stir the pot a bit, I guess. You can't just agree outright. You gotta have entertainment. Alright, it is 5:58 my time. We're coming up on the last 2 minutes, I'm gonna say. If you guys want to get anything else with your cat money, feel free. 21 subscribers when we started the stream. stream. So 21 coins per 5 minutes, 4.2 per minute, 0.07 per second. A friend of mine and I actually have a safe word every time we feel like we're spiraling into a black hole. Sounds fair. If I'm being recorded, I'll come up with one of those safe words or just say like, okay, well, back on topic. But if I'm just having a conversation, it's like this. It just goes. It's wherever it happens to lead. That's just what we do. So I'm going to catch that star before we leave. Anyway, wrapping up. This actually went longer than I thought it would. You know what? Here, hold on. I'll drag you. Oh no, I'm dragging Elsa. Oh no, Elsa got it. No problem. Tuesday, I guess, will probably be the day that we're doing that, unless Pete decides to stream before that. If he does, great, cool, awesome. If not, whatever. Tuesday will be the day we aim for. So, yeah. I'm so brain dead trying to come up with a little factoid to end the stream. Hold on. Well, I'll say goodnight first. Good night, everyone. Sweet. I was going sleep tight and sweet dreams, and I ended up with sweep, and then I just caught myself because that wasn't a thing. Sweet dreams, sleep tight, and your little factoid, a little advice that you need to remember is tomorrow starts with how good of a sleep you get tonight. So don't fucking do what I'm doing now. Good night.